you're selling the house, of course you need to take those things into consideration, but you also want to make a nice presentation. So we took that sectional, broke it up, and now this room looks really warm, inviting, and it's aesthetically pleasing, and it looks great. Okay, so I guess I've been throwing around some of these cliches. You've heard of beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, I like to say beauty is in the eye of the stager, and a good stager, because you know everybody has their own style and everybody does things a little differently. This particular house was a $9 million house in the Los Gatos Mountains. Beautiful house, 8,500 square feet, beautiful architecture. You can see this grand fireplace in the living room. The views of, what's that reservoir behind? Lexington Reservoir right behind it. Gorgeous house, beautiful finishes. And this actually is a picture of a staged furniture that was there prior to us getting there. And, you know, the stager used nice furniture. You know, the colors are okay, and, you know, the setup looks reasonable, right? But when we walked in, we thought, you know, we can do much better than this. We wanted the whole idea of the scale, the style, the colors that actually suit the room. We redid the room, and I think that the furniture that we used really helps to accentuate the features of the home and really helps to work with the home versus the furniture being on show. Do you agree? Doesn't it look beautiful? All right. And of course we live in California. We have this beautiful weather, okay? And we should not ignore our outdoor spaces. So here's a nice patio, beautiful spot with the water fountain, and you know, it looks great. But when you stage it with furniture, it just gives you that feeling of, well, you know, let's sit down, have a glass of wine, stay for a while. And so the idea of not ignoring those outdoor spaces here. All right, so how do we get our house ready for sale? Well, you've probably heard that the declutter story, clean up, and all those things. Yes, of course you have to do that. You know, I've been married for about 14 years, and I'm on to my 5th house, so it seems like every couple of years I'm packing up and getting rid of stuff and that kind of thing. But there's lots of people that stay in a house for a long time, 10, 20, 30, 50 years. And so when I think of how much stuff I accumulate in 2 or 3 years after I am moving on to the next house, you know, you accumulate a lot of stuff. We all do. So when you think of somebody after 40 years being in a house, there's a lot of stuff to pack away, and you know, you just don't want that stuff to be on display, and you're moving anyway, so it's a good time to get that stuff cleaned up. You should clean your windows, clean your carpets, repairs, that kind of thing. This house, it's actually all one room. It's got the family room, built-ins, and the kitchen. This is a house that we recently staged in Palo Alto. You know, when you walk in and you see this, it doesn't really make you feel like, oh, I want this to be my house, right? Lots of stuff. You need to get rid of that. The colors maybe not so appealing to the general buyers, so again, we made some recommendations. Okay, any painting that needs to be done, any repairs that need to be done, leaky faucets, changing out outdated light fixtures, all of those things really help to make that impression. And those things we can help you with too, because you know, you don't have to spend a ton of money to make your house look great. There's lots of little things that you can do to help spruce it up and make it look great without having to, you know, put in the whole, spend all the money on replacing your cabinets, for instance, when painting them actually does look good, and for the purpose of the sale really is better for the return on investment. And then this, well, add the wow factor. This is the same room that you saw with the yellow walls. Can you believe that? Once it's decluttered, once it's cleaned up, once you've removed some of the colors that might be distracting, you've got this beautiful, beautiful presentation. It's a lot of work, I know, but it will pay off. Okay, so why does staging work? Well, you know, I'm a stager, so when I walk into a house, I think, oh wow, this room could be this, or we can set it up this way, and that's what we do. But most people don't have that experience or that imagination. And so staging really does help look at the house and play on the strengths of the house, and really gives you the ideas of the possibilities for that home. This is a California bungalow up in Oakland, and this is the view from the front door. And the client, when she called me in to help stage the house, she says, you know, this looks like a bowling alley. Would you agree? You walk in the front door, and especially with the paper laid out that way, it seems like, you know, strike. But most people, when they walk into a house like this, if this were empty, you don't know what to do with it. You don't know what to do with the space. What is the space used for? Or what could it be used for? And so staging really helps to define those rooms, define those spaces. We've got a living room up front, a dining room set up, and a sunroom at the back, a reading area. And then that really helps buyers give that feeling of what you could do. Again, we're all individuals, we all like what we like, and that's perfect when you're living in the house. This particular family in Cupertino really liked blue. Painter's tape color blue, right? And, you know, while it looked fresh and clean and everything else, maybe not so appealing to the average person, right? This particular family liked blue so much they had a matching blue car in their driveway to go with their blue trim. So in speaking with them and getting their house staged and getting it ready to sell, we did also ask or convince them that, you know, maybe we should tone down the blue a little. And there's the house now with the new, you know, neutral colors that really help. Okay, so what elements make up good staging? Well, I think the first thing that you need to do when you're selling a house is to look at who you think might be buying the house, because you need to do smart marketing. You need to target who you think might be buying the house. So if it's a younger family, if it's a young couple thinking about starting a young family, there's nothing better than going through and walking through a potential house with your family, and the little kids are like, I want this room, you know, they want this room, right? You want that feeling. Or maybe it's an older couple that does a lot of entertaining, and so you need to give them the ideas of how they can use the space for entertaining. Depersonalizing the home, well, we all have family photos, and that's great. When you're selling the house, maybe pare down a little bit. You don't want the whole living room wall to be the art gallery and the family tree of your whole ancestry. So trying to put some of that stuff away is good. And we also already talked a little bit about improving the layout so that it looks aesthetic versus just being functional. And the whole idea about returning rooms back to their intended function. Some people use different rooms differently. For instance, we had a family we were helping sell their house where they took their family room because it was a nice large size. They entertained their family a lot. They turned it into a dining room. They put their giant dining room table in there. It looked great. It was great for their uses at home. But it doesn't give you that idea of, well, where's the family room? Because once you see the dining room furniture there, you feel like you're committed to the fact that it's a dining room. Well, so when you're selling the house, try to get those rooms back to what they were supposed to be. And then using color to add that impact. So you've got lots of reds. Red's great in photos. You can see how it pops out at you. Blues are great as well, a little bit of orange. This particular picture here is a picture of